It's not working.
I think I got 0 last year. But I think COVID did that.
Hey, we should get all the candy you bought at your house to eat.
Yeah, I know. I bought full size. That was probably a mistake. They're about half gone already. Oops. Hey, Alexi.
Hello.
How you doing? Couple minutes.
Elliot, hi. Do you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, all right. Nice.
Oh, hopefully some more people show up.
Change this.
This is what we're doing, Tommy?
Huh? It's...
Not too bad. Two minutes. Hey, Zane.
Hi there, guys.
Good. Where is... I just started putting stuff together. I have not... drones. I haven't read much of what you guys made yet, but I'm going to today and tomorrow.
I see that you corrected. Sorry, I've been busy at work. I
no
even
worries.
didn't,
I've been really
Mhm.
overwhelmed too, but I got this weekend off, so yeah, this is going to be my focus for the next couple days. Almost.
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah, no worries. No, thanks for going. This is really good. I am going to examine it in great detail. Excellent. Just waiting for 9 o'clock. We'll give everyone a chance. But a couple people usually join a little late. That's all right. Okay, 9 o'clock. Let's start. I'm glad that we took... Okay, so call to order. I'm glad that we took last week off because it gave us a chance to watch the last webinar was last week, I think, right? I think we got a little bit too hasty maybe at the start, but that's okay because now we can kind of get on the straight path toward where we got to go. So I was watching webinars. I'm going to rewatch all the webinars today, and I'm going to watch all the other recordings and stuff. They don't really care about our technical solution, right? This segment is, our philosophy has to be, this segment is us learning how to manage a project, right? So all the little nitty gritty stuff we do have to do. So we did this really well. We all got together really quick. I think a lot faster than the other groups did. We all kind of came together and just started throwing things together and arguing and trying to figure things out, and it wasn't really working very well. Now we got to kind of get into this operation mode, right, where we're all linked together and on the same page and really following the segment guides really tight, and the webinars. The segment guides are not, I don't think, the perfect thing for doing this. I think we got to bring it all together, like the webinars too, because what they were saying in those, I think, is like the law. It's the word. So I think we got to listen to the webinars. And by the end of tomorrow, I'm going to try to get us into this operational mode where everything is really tight and really delegated and really everyone knows exactly what we're doing and why. And there might be some mistakes made still, but we're going to get everyone focused on what they have to be doing, right? The task focus. So, and we want to avoid this until February. So, this part of this webinar, like the second half, I kind of just discounted a little bit to start with. But after I watched it a couple times, it kind of clicked in that, okay, yeah, we all got to get together and figure out who's doing what, who's good at what, and we can't count on everyone, I guess. But we're going to make it, I think. So I started tuning up the template. Like this stuff is all obvious. Like we've written hundreds of reports, I'm sure. But they really want a strong structure to our documents that we submit. And the numbering thing and grammar, well, that's easy, and everything's got to be really tight. So I'm gonna take the proofreading, fact checking, document structure, and delegation, and then I'm just gonna delegate the tasks to you guys and let you do them. And you can do them however you want, and I'll just bring everything together and get everything really tight and straight at the end. So I started with this. I think it was back here. Yeah. So I started rewriting the template this morning, and I started with not with Alexi's segment, because that one's a little different. His is pretty much, I think this is pretty much the way that his is going to look. Well, actually, let's start at the top. Reset. This is their stuff. Cover page, done. Tables. Again, this is all from the webinars and the guides. Like, we're just going to follow that.
The last one, right?
Yeah, we're going to quit trying to freestyle it. We're just going to do exactly what they're telling us to do. This has to wait until we're all done. Problem definition. Dino didn't write this. I just took it from the first submission, and I just kind of pared it down. And this is roughly done. Section 1 of the segment 2 submission, pretty much done. Alexi's part, the context analysis, this is all the background information, pretty much done. Except for my part, which is the proofreading and fact-checking and finding sources for all this information and stuff. I haven't read through this yet, Alexi, and I haven't proofread it. I haven't done anything like that with it yet. I'm going to do that today. But excellent work on this. It looks very thorough just from my initial glance at it.
Maybe the last part, the conclusion, should be a bit bigger. That's what I'm thinking.
Sure. Yeah, I will. I'm going to look at every single letter, word, sentence, everything, and I'm going to really tune it up. And I'm going to turn on track changes so you'll know exactly what I did. So this is where I really got into the meat of breaking this down. We'll look at Steve, your part later, and Zane, I don't think you've submitted anything yet, but we'll start looking at this. So this I took from the webinars. Mike Sovereign did submit a little bit of text, and it was all stuff that we talked about. So we know pretty much what the technical solution is going to look like. We talked about during the last webinar. I'm not sure. I can't remember if Zane was there. I know that Alexi and Steve were. but we're leaning toward, and it sounds like we have quite a bit of freedom on how we choose to solve the problem. And correct me if anything has changed. It sounds like we're leaning toward, Renzi's here. Renzi, you'll want to review the first part of this recording, because I was just talking philosophy and stuff about the project, and I think it's important for you to see that. We are pretty much, I think, all on board with mains power distribution, ring topology, solar power, centralized distribution, potentially ring system integratable in the future, but only down, not up. So we're not going to be putting power into the grid. And direct burial cable, and just regular home installation electrical infrastructure, right? Just like North American or first world infrastructure. So
sorry, guys. Can you pass a little idea, please? I just got on it this week.
Yeah.
I've been missing last Model 5 webinar, so I watched a couple of days later.
Yeah.
And what I want to offer about the house lights. Basically, this is emergency lights. Everybody see that green running man in the shops.
Yeah.
Basically, these lights have a battery pack inside.
Yep.
And it's could last for 3 hours.
Okay.
And basically, it's enough lightning power to light the house.
Okay.
Also, this is a proper IP rated, IP65, so it could be installed. It's basically protected enough.
Okay. Yeah, we'll examine it as part of
This is just like an idea, you know.
For sure.
It's possible to use because our tutor, I think he told about this camping in Australia. It's something similar was done in there as well.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll have a look at stuff like that in a later section, I think. Anyways, right. So Mike Sovereign, right. So we're pretty much clear on the numbers and the rough system topology. We can change anything. Doesn't really ultimately matter what we wind up going with, right? That's not the question. The question is, can we come together as a group? Can we manage the project successfully? And they're throwing us a softball here. If we can't do this in Bow Village, Sierra Leone, Africa, they're not going to let us do this anywhere else, right? So I think that's kind of the point. That we have to all figure out how to systematically manage a project, get through it, and not get off track, and lay all this stuff out in excruciating detail, in a very formal way. So that's the point of this segment, I think. And what we come up with, that's secondary. So I started with Mike Sovereign's team segment, the requirements analysis. This seemed like the most obvious place to start with the technical stuff. Alexi, your segment pretty much done, like I said.
Oh.
So we all get like the context of it. So we have to break all this stuff down, and I haven't put in headings for everything yet. I got to tighten this all up. But this was from the webinar. So requirements analysis, system inputs, nothing goes under this heading. Hardware, nothing under this heading. Electrical, nothing under this heading. Voltage, we do put something under this heading. We put, we break it down, right? So we break it down into house voltage And again, I'm just doing this roughly right now, 240 volts AC, or whatever it is. And panel voltage. Sorry, I can't type when I'm looking at a different display. 24 volt DC. Or it might be whatever we want to do. Let's say 12 to 48 volts DC. Because we don't care yet, really, right? Whatever it winds up being. We'll straighten all this out later. And battery voltage. We're going to say cell. We're going to say that's 12 volts DC. Okay, and we just go through this all in a very systematic way. And we just fill in all the little nitty-gritty details, right? Current. Well, I don't really know yet, but let's say a house panel. The panel in my house is 100 amps. That's probably a little bit much for... I think that they make 30 amp panels, right? So that's system total output, 300 amps. Okay, and we just go through this all step by step.
No. This is very big output. This is very big output.
Yeah, like that's I realize that. That's probably way too much. Probably we have to do some statistics or some estimation on how much it should be.
10 times less if it's not 20 times less.
Yeah.
About them.
Yeah, that's reasonable. So let's say 30 total. And what I mean, it doesn't matter. It could be 5. We can put 45. Again, we'll fill in the details later. But what I'm trying to communicate right now is how we're going to get through the project management part, right? So this number could be 455, but it doesn't matter. We'll decide that later. And then again, it's just working through the details, the connectors. Okay. What do we Mars? Okay. And we can say just twisted splices not okay, right? Everything has to be insulated or soldered or something. And pin allocation. So this would be on our hardware. This would be like a table of what pins on what devices are connected to what, right? IP ratings. So this would be another table of all of the equipment and what the IP ratings of each piece of equipment has to be, and it would be broken down further, right? Like we would have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.1 junction box, or let's say cabinet 1, and it's outside, so it has to be IP65 or whatever it has to be. But 3.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, or whatever, I'll fix the headings later, is cabinet 2. And it's inside, so it only has to be dust-proof. So it has to be IP33 or whatever the number is. I can't remember the numbers. And this will be in tabular format, right? And we'll do this for every cabinet junction box, all the panels in the people's houses, the junction boxes outside, and blah, 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 blah. We'll get through that. But this is how we're going to do it. We're going to lay it out very systematically, structurally, per the project guide and per the webinars especially, and the pre-recordings and the slides. So that's how they want us to do it. Dion made a very clear point about people doing it wrong, right? The thing that stands out in my mind is when they were talking about system packaging, which I have down here. We'll go back up a little bit in a minute. System packaging, right? And he made the point where people would get this completely wrong. They would say, we're going to ship the panels and the hardware or whatever it was in cardboard and bubble wrap. Totally wrong. What they mean by this is how the equipment is finished out, right? Like what the enclosures are made of. I'm leaning toward probably PVC or something, but we'll decide later. Probably not a good idea to put a steel junction box outside in Sierra Leone. It'll just get rusted out and wrecked, right? Compatibility with existing equipment. Well, that means that the mains power distribution voltage has to be the same as Sierra Leone's power distribution voltage, right? But we'll go through all that completely systematically. Digital. Protocol message structure. Again, we don't put this anywhere else. We say 3.1.1.3. Whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. And we say that the protocol message structure is going to be mod bus TCP IP. And we'll add another layer for physical layer. And it's going to be Cat 5e Ethernet. And then we add something else here and something else here. And it doesn't matter, we'll go through all that very systematically later. And yeah, go ahead, Alexei. Yeah.
Why we use these protocols in here?
It's just exemplary. It could be RS-45 or RS-232, or it could be some other communication protocol. But we'll work that out later.
I just think we not use any protocols at all in the just electrical system.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. So we can change this totally. We can say point whatever the number was. We can say it's not Modbus. It's actually just 24 volt DC digital I/O, and we're going to say that it's also so that will be digital signals. Analog signals will be 4 to 20 milliamp analog.
Elliot, for what we need to do protocols in the system?
We may need something, right? We don't know yet because we haven't fully designed everything. Because when we get down to here, right, voice input. Do we want any voice inputs on this system? Probably not. Do we want a security system? Probably not a bad idea.
No.
Yes, right. So, but I'm not sure yet. But it doesn't really matter at this point because we're not in the brainstorming phase right now. We're kind of in just the phase where we go through and decide how we're going to get this done. And if we decide that we want a camera looking inside the building or outside of it, well, I mean, can't really do that with just digital I/O, right? You need maybe Ethernet. And there will be other questions like, do we have internet access?
No.
No? Maybe. I mean, it's becoming more and more. We'll have to think about it, right? I mean, we can't. Yeah, right. We don't have. We can't put in every luxury feature we want, but there are some strictly necessary features. But I don't know strictly what they are yet, and nobody does fully.
Some of the houses in that village will be made from straw.
I know. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm very that much. So internet access, probably not. Probably not.
If I may, please, one of the points that I picked up in the last webinar from Dion is that I think Michael mentioned it as well in the Teams chat, is that it looks like they're not looking for the complexity of the solution we're going for.
Right.
More just quality of the content and the structure.
Yes.
And I think the more detailed we go, the more work we make for ourselves in elaborating further in the different sections and the analysis and so forth. Yeah,
but we can, this was in the webinar, right? IP ratings. It was, right. I might have been mousing over the wrong screen.
On that side, I'm just saying the additionals, to the solution itself, like Lesky was saying. Just electrical is what we're going for, and then to try and keep it as battery limits saves ourselves a lot of extra work.
Right. Yes. So like we might not need Internet Ethernet, but like let's just pick IP ratings for example, because that's a good one. So we could do this in a different way. We could say, I want to tab out, but anyways, all things outside need to be waterproof. All things inside don't. You can't put your fingers in where live cables are. You have to keep mice out of the cabinets. Kids can't go in the electrical shed. Right? So so this one would be IP51 or whatever the number is. I don't know. So I just want to kind of like we can start here, right? And we know this stuff intuitively, and then we just tighten it up later by saying cabinet 1 is IP65, building 2 is locked, and just stuff like that, right? So we can start simple and small, and then we make it even simpler by just changing this. We just strike this out. Let's just do that. We have that, and we just change it to electrical shed, building 001, or whatever it winds up being. I'm just using the shed as an example. It won't actually be like this. We're going to say that it's IP12, because that just means that it's a locked door, or whatever. I don't know what it is. And that's it. And then we do the next one, junction box 5 is...
Just correct me if I'm wrong, but this section 3 is defining our sort of
right.
of the hardware requirements. Just a definition for what our solution will have to meet.
Yeah, for sure. So the requirements are like the electrical. Okay, so we can add another section here, so we know what so this is the big one at the top, right? 0.0, whatever. Lights. That's the objective here, right? So we say 1 light per house. Okay, what does that mean? What kind of light? How many houses? Well, we want... Yeah, so times 15 houses equals 15 lights. Okay, what kind of light?
LED lights. 1
LED light. How many watts? 8.5. Right, so that's what I'm I'm approaching it like that, like very detail oriented, but very simple. 8 point. Okay, what kind of base on that light? Medium base.
It could be 6 watts LED lights.
Yeah,
that would be enough.
Right.
Range will be better probably in that case.
Yeah. So 8.5 watt medium base LED light. What mains voltage does that LED light run on? 240 volts. That seems like a pretty good definition for the lights segment of the electrical requirement, right? Good enough. Okay, and then we just go through that for every single heading that I'll come up with. And what I'm going to do is today we'll just kind of get all on board with laying out the structure roughly. I just want getting everyone to understand how we're going to get through this. And then today and tomorrow I'm going to spend my time going through the segment 1 template, making all of these headings. So I'm going to make the headings, but I'm going to delegate filling out the headings. So I'm just going to say, okay, lights. Alexi, you're picking the lights. And you have to tell me exactly what kind of light it is. And that's it. And then,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm just going to delegate a little bit to every one person, and you guys will come up with the stuff. And I'll let you guys make the decisions. I'm not making a decision, so I'm just getting you guys all organized here. So that was just hardware, right? Then we look at software. Well, we might, whether we do our own programming on this stuff, we might not have to do anything. Like if we just spec out an all-in-one battery charge controller that also is the inverter and all that stuff, we might just delete this section altogether because we're not doing any software programming ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we might wind up doing that. This was something that my sovereign. So this is all stuff that we've done before. So that was inputs. Okay, well I kind of mixed them up. Like the lights should really go under the system outputs section, right? And the input would be the panel and buttons and switches and maybe a motion sensor or a light sensor or anything like that, or a camera. The outputs
Do you want me to
be... Yeah,
electrical part, guys? I can take all electrical parts and do it for you if you want.
Yeah, I think everyone here is pretty well versed in electrical stuff. So I might just, if you want to volunteer for something, Alexi, then do so now. Or if anyone else wants to. Like if anyone thinks that they have special expertise in any one area, like I don't, right? I'm not an electrical engineer or electrician or anything like that. I know the basics and the principles, but I don't know everything, right? So you know quite a bit about solar installations, Alexi. So I think I'm going to give you the panels and maybe the charge. Well, no, I'm not going to give you the charge controller. I'm going to give you panel selection, Alexi. Does that sound all right? Or panel requirement,
but Elliot, it should be all in a complex, because if you selection a panels, you should have appropriate inverter for the panels.
Right.
Yeah. For the inverter, you should have a appropriate battery package. It's all connected together.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So I'm saying that when we get to the point where we have to pick the exact model of panel, I'm going to give that to you, I think. And then, like, I'll give Steve, for example. I don't know if he wants to do it or what.
I can select the panels. It could be Canadian solar, even, you know.
Yeah, no, I know. I looked at their site too.
You do a lot of panels. It's usually about 250 watts per panel.
Yeah.
About 47 volts they do, and about 8 amps.
Right. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Yeah. So we'll keep that in mind. Okay, so the panel will go in the electrical inputs section, right? And this doesn't necessarily have to be all subheadings, right? We could just tabularize this all and say panels, and have columns for voltage, current, like resistance, or some other columns like voltage and current are the two big ones, right? And IP rating. So the panels, I mean, they're going to get wet, so they have to be waterproof. And so do the connectors that connect the panels together. They have to be waterproof, right? So we're going to tabularize that. I might do that. I might get rid of the headings and just make this a table, and then we just fill in every cell in the table. And I'll delegate the different rows to different people. But we're not going to make much progress on doing this today.
Just a question, Elliot.
Yeah.
Something that I thought. You don't think it would maybe work a bit more efficiently if we do a section but break it down into like 3 people doing one section?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can subgroup stuff, definitely.
Give a few guys one section and they work on it together and present, put it forward.
I think I had my mouse on the wrong screen that whole time. Well, we can do that.
I know, obviously, when we're all together here on the weekend, on the Saturday, it's not easy to get into detail.
Break down and especially when we only have an hour designated for this, right? Well, does anybody want to work together? I'm gonna stay outside of those like subgroups. I'm gonna, if we do subgroup like that, I'm gonna try to organize stuff instead. So like, who were you? What were you thinking, Zane? Who did you want to work with?
No, this was going on what Alessi was saying there. That confident. Join with him, and we can put together these inputs and outputs, for example.
Sure. Okay. So
get involved, then they can also join in.
So you're saying? Sorry, I might have missed part of what you said. You said Zane and Alexi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna get this all finished out today. When I do the forum post, I might do it later tonight because this will take me a while to organize everything out. But okay, so Zane and Alexi are doing system inputs and outputs, and that's right. Like, just draw a black box. Let's actually draw it so that you guys. That was also in the slides, which I'm going to switch to very quick. It's actually right there, right? So we have our black box. That's our system. All you guys are worried about is what's coming in, voltage and current wise, and you're not even worried about how it's coming in, and you're thinking about what's going in and out. So this is enough voltage and current for the lights, right?
Yes.
So you guys don't worry about this. You don't worry about this part over here, which is invisible, and you don't worry about this part. All you're worried about is the arrows if you're doing that system inputs and outputs.
Yes, from the guide, it's basically this section is what the system must be able to do.
Yes. Yeah, what it must produce, given what is put into it, right? So what goes in and what comes out, and the system itself doesn't matter for this part. So that's what you guys are going to do. Okay. So we don't have to draw that, actually. Okay. So strictly inputs and outputs, Alexi and Zane. And I will forum post or email you or something about what, but it won't be till later tonight.
But just a point while we're still there on the requirement analysis, because I see it goes a bit further on the guide that there's about 7 or 8 sections that form part of the requirement.
Yeah, on the slides, there was quite a bit. So I believe that the packaging, which again, people were, I think, according to Dion, getting confused about, that section is here, so I'll delegate someone else for that. I'm using Canadian spelling, sorry guys. And so much of this is obvious, but it's not, you have to write it down, right? If you don't, then it's not real.
I'm just saying, sorry, Elliot, not those ones we shot, the guide itself.
Oh, in the guide. Okay, in the segment 2 guide?
That's correct.
System requirements.
The requirement.
Yeah, structural, operational, safety, maintenance. Use these as subheadings. Okay, so I'll reorganize it. I organized it based on what the slide said, but I can reorganize it to be like this instead. Yeah, right. Try to add as much detail as you can. How many lights per household, for how many hours a day, how many lumens, and so forth. There you go. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. And I believe that Mike Sovereign roughly did that with his what he generated. I might have lost a little bit of it, but I'll go back. Oh yes, here we go. Yep, that's pretty much what he did. So yeah, like having just that's like a heading, and we'll have to fill in the training underneath. System packaging. Yeah, I'll tighten all this up. Don't worry about that. Okay, alternative solutions. We'll spend another 10 minutes on just going through the structure of what we're going to do, and then we'll just free it up. Solar power. Yep, we're on board with that. Right, alternative solutions.
Sorry if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alternate solution. I don't know how everyone else feels, but from the webinar, I sort of gathered that they're looking for some suggestions made by Dion, such as wind, hydro, solar as well. So
Okay.
I think they sort of just comparison just on those main ones, not like how we broke it down into AC and
Okay,
DC.
so just wind, solar, hydro.
I think those were the main ones that were suggested from him.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we can pare this section down, right? Because that would be the first question that someone would ask: is, you guys did all this work on solar power. What about wind? Well, no, it's not going to work there. Well, hydro definitely wouldn't work. We kind of know that, but wind. Well, why not wind? Well, this is why. And yeah, sure, we can just pare this section down. And like some of the bigger stuff, like that one should probably stay. The grid integratability, possibly. We might just move it somewhere else, though.
Because it says, yeah, it's hard.
Oh, we're kind of losing you, I think.
You're going somewhere.
Yeah, I can't really hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yeah.
Okay, so I was just mentioning in the guide, it specifically mentions these should be 3 totally different energy sources.
Okay, 3 different energy sources. Okay, let's have a look at that guide again. Try to come up with, as a group, at least 3 solutions. 3 totally different. These do not involve 3 totally different energy sources. You could have, say, 3 different types of wind systems. At this stage, no detailed design is necessary. So we don't have to pick any equipment yet, right? But we do have to say what... So we can generalize a little bit more, right? We don't have to say, like, cabinet 1 has to be IP65. We just say all cabinets outside have to be IP65. And that's a good general... Or we don't even have to go that far. We just say everything outside has to be waterproof. And that's good enough for this part. And then we'll granularize it a little bit more later. Yeah. Try to describe the basic concepts, but do not make a decision yet. Okay. This is one part of the project where brainstorming is very important. So we've worked on this quite a bit already, right? Like we've done this for about 10 minutes or 15 minutes every meeting. So I think we're all pretty clear on what the alternatives are, and we're pretty sure on what we're going to come up with already. Okay, alternative analysis. And it looks like Mike Showmaker pretty much copied this table verbatim, I think. 4 weighted selection criteria, and he did this already. And let's look at that next. So solar, wind, and steam. Well, that doesn't really make sense. So I'll go through this again. It'll be part of my proofreading and fact checking is kind of making sure that all of this makes sense. Because, I mean, like, you can't have renewable steam power. You need the heat to come from somewhere, right?
I think you went on that from the suggestion in the webinar.
Right, yeah, it might have been like, but that's kind of a different thing. And AC. AC what? AC mains distribution versus DC mains distribution, right? Like AC and DC, just having these doesn't make much sense, and there's no justification for why. So we'll have to kind of fill in the details and stuff. These make more sense on their own, centralized versus individual distribution. Okay, good. Grid integrable versus not. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And we will have to come up with a little bit of justification for the weights and stuff. And that could just be, like one paragraph about each little subsection here, every little group of 3 or 2. And there are 2 tables. I'm not sure why he made 2 tables. I haven't really looked at them that closely yet. Oh, because he applied the weights. Okay, well, there's an easier way to do that. Section 9. Yeah, I'll have a look at there and tighten this stuff up. Okay, project risks. Zane, let's move on to your part. Have you made any progress on it yet? Or?
Yes, obviously I've done the risk matrix, the 5x5, and I've copied the risk register that we're meant to utilize.
Okay.
Just not enough. It's in Excel, obviously. That's what the template is. So I just want to convert it into Word.
Yeah, you can just throw that Excel file right into the Dropbox, and then I'll see it there, and I'll do the conversion or whatever. I'll just drag it in or something.
So then it's a matter of populating now the points that's in the risk register. Okay.
Yeah, if you've got these, can you just take the version that you have and just save it into the Dropbox, and I'll just update it later, just so we get the skeleton in here. But you don't have to do it right now. We'll just keep talking for a bit. But you're making good progress on it, it sounds like.
Yeah, basically just populating of the register.
Excellent. Okay, good job. So it sounds like we are pretty much on track. So that's how we're going to get through this, right? So again, I think Zane and Rinsey, you kind of missed the first 5 or 10 minutes. The philosophy we have, I'm kind of repeating myself, but the philosophy that we have to take toward this is that we're not, the exact solution that we come up with doesn't really matter for the purposes of this coursework, right? Remember, we're in school here. What they're trying to teach us is how do we manage a project, right? How do we get everyone together, on board, same page, on the right path, delegate things, figure out who's doing what, who's good at what, who's bad at things. Like, I don't know much about electrical stuff. I know the basics, but you guys are the experts in my mind. So that's how we have to approach this, right? And the surefire way to do it, follow the guides and the webinars word for word. Sometimes it's a little frustrating because there's some contradiction between the guides and the webinars, so we'll have to kind of sort out what their intention is. But as long as we just make a little progress, a little bit at a time, we'll be good. So I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to open it up. What I'm going to do today and tomorrow is I'm going to go through the template. I'm going to tighten everything up. I'm going to come up with all the headings and subheadings, and then I'm going to fill in underneath the final subheading or table cell or whatever it winds up being. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Who I want to do that job, and also if I need to provide a little bit of guidance or clarity, I'll just put a little note saying this is roughly what we need, but I'm not going to think too hard about it myself. I'm going to let you guys do the thinking. So that's all I want to say. I'm done. What do you guys think?
Yes.
I can't hear you. You're talking, but I can't hear what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the connection.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, I was just agreeing with you there. We populate.
Yeah, I'm only catching bits. Sorry, man. I'm only catching little bits and pieces of what you're saying.
Okay, I'll type it.
Yeah, just type it. Yeah, that works way better. Rinsey, it looked
Hi,
like
are you able to hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I'm not at home, so I don't know how well my net is. Yeah, so in this entire report, is there a section where we are actually showing the complete architecture of what we're proposing?
No, not in this part. This is feasible. So the title of this is, right, it was kind of hard to find. Feasibility and study. Can we do this? Is it possible to do this, right? And our constraint is going to be the dollar figure, right? Because if we had $1 billion, we could do this on Mars. Or if we had $100 million, we could do this in Antarctica. But is it possible to do this? If our installation site was inside a volcano, probably not possible. But I mean, I'm just kind of joking around, right? Yeah.
Okay. So all those details comes only in the next report we're preparing. Probably, right?
Yeah. If the problem definition was we want to install 1 billion lights in every house in this town, is that feasible? No, that's not feasible. If we wanted to collect lightning power to power the system from thunderstorms, is that feasible? No, that's not feasible. We can't do that. So that's all we're trying to figure out is what are the rough requirements of the system? What's the political situation like? What's their economy like? Is this thing going to get destroyed in a civil war next year? Well, it's kind of hard to say, but is that likely to happen? What are some of the alternatives? Does this even have to be done? Like if they're getting electrical power next year, this is kind of pointless, right? So we're just going through the rough estimation feasibility right now. So we don't need to do the formal full system design for a while yet. And Rinsey, your part, right? We didn't talk. We kind of skipped over your part because you weren't here. Like I said before, we'll wait until we're all done, and then you can write your executive summary. But you can get started on it now.
I started on it. I have an outline, like you said, all these AMPs and the technical terms. I've just written some blank numbers.
Yeah, or I just I do that a lot. Outline. When I don't know, I just do that, and then I just come back and fill it in later. So, yeah, you can totally do that.
Yeah, my draft is ready. I'll put it up in the Dropbox, and then I'll keep fine-tuning it as and when we complete the design.
Yeah, and I'll keep checking. When I see in the Dropbox that date modified is like the same day that I'm working on it, then I'll just pull out whatever's in there and replace.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll keep up to date on that stuff. So, excellent. Okay. Any other thoughts, doubts, questions, concerns, ideas? Now's free time.
Has the segment 1 been marked?
Good question. I did not get an email about it, so I don't think so. I'm going to check that on a different display. I get emails when I'm just on a different display right now. I don't think so, but I'll just confirm. Submission folder, group 5. No, that's not right. Loading.
You probably should get an email about that.
Yeah,
as with every markings, yeah.
Yeah, because I do for all my other assignments. So I was just kind of guessing that it would be. Well, where did the submission go? The group project segment 5 submission folder. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong folder. Sorry, guys. Submitted for grading status not graded. There. Yeah, sorry. It's been, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? It just takes time, I guess. I don't know. So there you
go. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Anyone else? Anything else? Oh, I had a question for you guys, actually. I don't know how well this displays. Like, can you guys read the text here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wasn't sure how good the encoding was, how well it would just display the text and stuff. So I just didn't know. Okay.
I have a question to Zane. Zane, how will be working? Basically, will it be better for you to Skype to work on a groups or email?
Yes, I just sent you a message in the chat just to see when we can plan a Teams meeting, and then we can just work off Teams. We need to share the screen also we can.
All right. That sounds. Where do you live?
In Mozambique.
All right. So it's the same time as South Africa, no?
That's correct.
Okay. So it's about two. We have like 2 hour difference.
Okay.
Something about I believe.
Yes,
All
more
right.
or less 1 or 2 hours. So we can just plan accordingly between you and myself, I think.
All right. Okay.
When do you guys want to do that roughly?
Yes.
Up to today.
Today? Okay. Yeah. Okay. You guys go ahead and do your thing. Yeah. You don't have to wait for anything. Okay. Just go ahead and do it. Yeah.
All right.
And I'll just continue independently, and I'll take what you guys generate and just kind of smash it into what I've done. So. Okay. Should we just call it early, or when do you guys want to do another meeting? Next week, or do you want to do the 2-week thing again?
Maybe next week, just to review roughly what we populated.
Yeah, maybe short one next week. Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be. I think I had the time picked already. Well, it's the same time again. Oops, that's too far.
Sorry, Elliot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have we managed to get hold of, I think it was Aaron?
No. Nope. Didn't get him. I'll try again. I might have to talk to Paul Salenza.
Yeah. Just in case his contact details may be changed or something.
Yeah, I'll be nice. I'll give him the benefit of doubt because I gotta be fair to him.
He's emailed Paul, and if he couldn't get a hold of anybody, I'm pretty sure he would have reached out to Paul himself.
Yeah. Okay. I will. I mean, he has the forum too, so I don't know. Maybe he died. Who knows? I don't know. It could happen, right? We'll give him the benefit of doubt. We don't know, so we'll just treat that with some grace, right? Okay, so this is the next time then. Saturday, November 6th. That's in 1 week. Same time next Saturday. 1 week from now. Good?
All right.
And by that time...
So by next week, everyone gets their portion ready by next Saturday, right? We need to finalize, and then I think we need to spend more time in discussing the actual solution we're proposing, details of, everything.
Yeah. That's, for this segment, that's kind of more appropriate for the brainstorming part. But... Okay, so next Saturday, what we're going to do is I'm going to by that time, I'm going to have everything that you guys generate this week. Rinsey, you're going to upload the summary.
Yeah.
Steve and Zane, you're going to work on the system I/O. I'm going to take those 2 things. Steve, what are you doing?
Repeat that again. What am I?
Yeah, what are you doing? I don't know. You were doing. You had already done view navigation pane.
The only thing that I've been assigned was the alternative solutions that I've
Where was it? Didn't I put it in? Yeah, here it is. Well, your part looks like it's pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, I tried not to add a whole lot. Like I'm saying, like we've all decided not to try to add more work to our stove.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks fine. I think you're okay for this week. Maybe I could delegate you something else, though.
Yeah, you don't have to decide right now. Just let me know.
Okay, I will do that. That'll be part of what I'm doing today and tomorrow. So you're free this weekend. I'll go have fun for Halloween. Yeah. Okay, so next Saturday, Zane and Alexi will work on their thing this week together, and they're going to get that into the Dropbox by like Thursday or Friday or something.
Right.
And I'm going to take that, I'm going to smash it into this template, I'm going to tighten everything up. Rincey is going to upload her executive summary skeleton little template thing. I'm going to smash that into and tighten it up. And then on Saturday, I'm going to present our state of progress to you guys and make sure that we're following the segment guides and stuff. And I'm going to watch all the pre-recording videos and make sure that we're on the right path and not doing anything that we're not supposed to be doing. So, sound good?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it sounds good. So next Saturday we can all sit and finalize the document and then assign 2 or 3 people to proofread.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very literate, so there won't be any proofreading to do. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'll probably make some mistakes and stuff. But yeah, we'll all look through it and figure it out. We have to do the submission on. I've kind of abandoned this. I don't know if this is that useful. I'll maybe try it again, but it's just another software layer to kind of try and navigate, right? That was... I'm sorry, I had it here already. There it is. November 22nd. So we have 3 weeks. So we still have 2 or 3 meetings before we have to do the submission. So I think we're okay. All right?
I'm good.
Okay, thanks very much, guys. Thanks for your time. Happy Halloween.
Good. Thanks, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.